Welcome to Cedar Grove United Methodist Church and our study of the Gospel of John. This study is conducted during the Lenten season in the spring of 2021, although it should be applicable for many years to come. At this point, we're undergoing COVID restrictions, COVID-19. We're beginning our second year of COVID restrictions. This is the introduction to the book, the Gospel of John. Each week, actually each day, we will have a new posting on a different chapter of the book of John, 20 chapters in all. The Gospel of John is considered to be one of the most beautiful stories that was written in history. It combines a poetic beginning with a literary narrative about the Messiah, the world Savior who is Jesus the Christ. It's originally written in Koine Greek, the common Greek language of the time, which was the 1st century AD. The Gospel is generally attributed to a man we know as the Apostle John, who was the brother of James, the son of Zebedee, a fisherman friend of Simon Peter and Andrew, all disciples, all fishermen, who worked the Sea of Galilee near Capernaum on the northwest side of that lake in what is today northern Israel. The events described are mostly from about 29 AD through about 33 AD and follow the ministry of Jesus up and down the Holy Land. There's clues embedded in the Gospel and in the other 3 Gospels, and from this we determine that John is most likely the disciple whom Jesus loved, as is described in the narrative of the Last Supper. John is also known to have been a follower of John the Baptizer, Jesus' cousin, who preached in the wilderness and who baptized people to cleanse them from their sins in the Jordan River. John, our author, is also known to the high priest's family, which enables him to become a witness to Jesus' trial. Scholars are generally in agreement that this was the last of the 4 Gospels to be written, most likely in the 70s or 80s, although some believe it was written as early as the 60s and others as late as the 90s. There are a few who argue that the Apostle John did not write this Gospel, and they argue for authorship in the hundreds or even the 110s. In any event, there is a small parchment fragment we call the Ryland fragment. It was discovered in the early 20th century in a small collection of scrolls that had been buried in the desert in southern Egypt. That fragment has been dated to have been written in Asia Minor, Western Asia Minor, around 110 to 120 AD, and the fragment contains a portion of the Gospel of John. Now, scholars also dispute whether this John was also the author of the 3 epistles who are attributed to John, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, although most agree that he was. They also dispute whether he was the same John who wrote the Revelation of St. John, though traditional scholarship, dating back to the 2nd century, maintains that they were all written by the same man who became the bishop of Ephesus, was exiled to the island of Patmos, and died an old man around the year 95. So we think that this John the Apostle did all of these writings and was definitely a distinct man from John the Baptizer, who actually was his original rabbi, teacher, and leader before he began to follow Jesus. Now, this Gospel does not follow the same chronological order as the other 3 Gospels. You might want to think of it as you've already read those 3 Gospels, or at least one of them. Now let me tell you what Jesus was like from the point of view of his best friend. The gospel builds a series of signs that are intended to lead the reader to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and, quote, and that by believing you may have life in his name. Every day we're going to post a separate chapter of the book of John, the Gospel of John, and we'll go through the 20 chapters during this Lenten season. They'll all be posted up to YouTube, and I hope that you'll join us each day. Now, since I'm both the director and the presenter and the producer, as well as the sound man, the video man, and all of that, once in a while I may be late a day. But please stick with us. I hope you'll enjoy this Bible study. Thank you.